Sorry, I was.
I mean, the intro music. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you don't get to hear the intro music, but that intro music it's almost like it's too calming. I think we need to hit up the platform and say we need something a little more like. I feel like we should come into like Van Halen or something like that.
Like eruption,
I've
or
never. I don't even know if I know I've heard a Van Halen song in my life, but I'm not sure which
okay.
one it was. I have a Van Halen T-shirt that I love only because it
Hold
has.
on, is it Van Halen or Van Hagar? Like what from what era are we talking about here?
I don't even know. What do you are you speaking? What is
I
this?
think I think real fans or fans of my age would understand. But
What
there's
age?
a
What
whole
age?
bunch of different eras of Van Halen, one of which is considered better than the other.
Okay,
So
which one's supposed to be better than the
the
what?
David Lee Roth era, like the original lineup, and
Okay, what's
then
that called?
Van Halen,
Okay.
and then they dumped David Lee Roth and they hired Sammy Hagar, so people would
Oh,
call
the
that
Van
the
Hagar.
Van Hagar era
Why'd they kick off the other guy?
because they just got they weren't getting along.
I feel like they stole
The
that.
Van Halen brothers weren't getting along with David Lee Roth,
I
so they
feel like
brought
they
in.
stole that from a movie. What movie am I thinking about? They kicked out the main main guy, Aaron.
The Temptations.
Yes. Was no wait, that wasn't a movie about Temptation. What was the name of that movie though?
Oh, you talking about the Five Heartbeats?
Five Heartbeats. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a classic. I mean it's a classic music trope in movies
Yeah,
for
yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The guy who thinks he's too big for the group gets kicked out by the group.
right.
Yeah. That happened to Justin Timberlake too. He just played it off really well and cried a river instead.
So,
Yeah, he showed them.
so who's gonna get kicked out of the PR project first is the question.
It's got to be me. I feel like sometimes I think I'm too big for my own britches.
It's funny you bring that up.
It's funny that you say that. This is the episode where you are out of here, sir. Speaking of me being out of here, and this is a terrible segue. Did anybody try the corn thing in the microwave?
I don't think you can get corn on the cob, like fresh corn on the cob at the stores right now.
Why? Because of
It's not in season.
I mean, nothing's ever, bro. Have you ever seen the grocery store? Nothing's in season in that place except for like one aisle at a time. But there's always stuff in all the aisles.
Sure.
Green peppers are not in season.
Fresh corn on the cob is not in season. Like, go to Meijer or Kroger or wherever, you're not going to find it.
Fine, you're right.
So no.
Anybody on that's in the crowd in the audience here that lives in a place that's warmer? Are they in season anywhere?
I don't think so.
That's stupid.
I think corn is,
Somebody get Monsanto on the phone and let's change that. They should have corn. They should be able to grow corn in the snow.
there's snow everywhere. That's the problem, right? Like, so even if there was, the corn crop is gone because of the climate change and the Al Gore and the thing.
Give them a couple years. There's gonna be corn cobs coming out of ice. Anyway, we had an interesting. Gary and I had this conversation the other day about mental toughness, right? What were you watching? What were you listening to, Gary? That was because you were listening to something, and then you brought up this conversation about mental toughness, and then I stole the whole thing, and then I used it as a caption to my post.
It was a strength running podcast.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, though, I was on behind, but I think it was before the holiday. But I listened to it this week.
What was it about?
It was he brought on a psychologist. I don't know the difference, but who's a sports psychologist.
Yeah.
And the whole topic was mental toughness, and then right from the get-go, they broadened it out to say this isn't about like getting gritty and like hammering out those workouts and being super tough. It was about like what it takes for you mentally. And obviously, every person's different, but basically, what it takes for you mentally to get where you need to be in a good headspace. Whether that's hitting every interval, or hitting that running that last mile until you get your goal pace, to like things that people don't talk about, which is like, hey, I need to back off here, or I need to change my plan. I think the example I gave to you was I'm working out from home, doing strength training from home, and I was doing single leg. Is it Romanian?
Romanian deadlifts, yeah. Or
Yeah. Was that
squat,
RDLs?
splits, yeah,
Single leg
yeah,
RDLs. Let's just do that.
yeah, yeah.
And I filmed myself to see if I was getting like my leg all the way up, and I realized my hips were twisted way up as well. So I was getting my leg up, but my hips were twisting. And so my thought was, I got to lower my weight. Like I can lift up this.
Mhm.
I think I had a 20-pound dumbbell.
Yeah.
I go, this is not working for me because I can lift it, but I'm also hurting myself in the process. So let's try and work on form first. So lowered the weight in the next session, and my hips were a lot lower. So I just threw away my ego because nobody's watching me. Nobody's tracking how much weight I'm lifting anyway. So let's just do it right, so you're not going to injure yourself, and then get back to the weight that you think you can do as long as you're doing it properly. So that was me like throwing away my ego, saying, let's just don't worry about lifting the heavy weight. Just get what you need to do it properly.
Yeah, and then I like definitely leaned in on that side of things where it's like, it just because it kind of like talked about the one thing I had posted the other day, which was like analyze over judge, or don't make analysis over judgment, because a lot of times like in the beginning of anything or at any moment, like when you're trying to like make change or grow in a big way, we have a idea of like we project like where we should be, where we want to be, where someone else is, and all these things without like really sitting still, like okay, where am I really? A lot of times, like, what do people say when they start running in the beginning? It's like, oh, running isn't for me, or I couldn't run a mile, I was so out of breath, and so this, so that, you know what I'm saying? And it really just comes from them not like sitting still long enough to realize like, oh, maybe I just need to walk run, or maybe I just need to walk for 15 minutes straight instead of even trying to run right now. And I think that takes a lot of mental, but back to mental toughness, I think that takes a lot of mental toughness as well, to like check yourself and check your ego and check all these other things that like push us in this direction of like reaching and being like, you know what, like right now the best thing for me to do is to do what I can, and especially in this day and age, like to like push aside, Instagram or Strava, all these things that like I think we subconsciously at this point, like at first it's kind of like a joke, like, oh, the Strava numbers. I think subconsciously to some point we're doing things fueled by like this little ego trip where it's like, okay, I know I'm at 59 miles. Let me just do this one more. You know what I mean? Just to get to 60 miles. And before, back in the day, like nobody cared. Like, when was I going to see? What was I going to see? When was I going to see your 59 miles or 60? You know what I mean? So I think
that's funny you bring that up. I almost put on my Instagram stories today, trigger warning, my miles for the week were 49.94. And I'm like, that's it. It is what it is. I don't need the extra 0.6. I'm done. I'm done for the week. Sorry for all you people who have to have that 0.0 at the end. This is it.
Yeah, and I just think that there's mental toughness really is that pushing further, and driving yourself into the ground sometimes, but also a lot of times it's more so than not, it's like about chilling out.
For sure.
This is episode 102 of the PR Project, by the way. I'm Aaron Worldwide. That's Tommy Run. And that's Gary as a runner. And we do this running show every week. I don't know if we did that part of the show, but
yeah, apparently the farther we've gone along in this show, the harder it seems for us to introduce the show. We used to start off the show like, hey, everybody. But now we're just like halfway into the thing. Yeah. But hey, guys,
I think it's fun. Yeah. I think it'd be a good contest for people to, before the show starts. How long will it take the PR Project to introduce themselves?
You got to figure it out. FanDuel, put an over-under on it.
Yeah.
I feel like an episode like 102. I feel like I mean, is that arrogance? Like, you know who we are. You're listening to the show.
It's kind of, well, I wouldn't say it's arrogance, but it kind of just like proves that we talk to the same people every week.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's cool. That's cool that we have a community.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, right. I mean, it's not like we're on the radio. You're just driving, like, I don't know who I'm listening to. You know what I mean? Like, if you click the podcast, you know what you're listening to. If you're watching this on the thing, you know what you're listening to. So, anyway, episode number 102. Aaron, Gary, Tommy, we're talking about mental toughness at the moment. What is your thoughts on that, Aaron?
I like both of you guys' points. I think the overarching theme of both of your points is just like mental toughness is very personalized, and it's difficult to tell someone else what their version of mental toughness is, because what worked for you might not work for somebody else, or what you need in that present time might not be what someone else needs. Like you might be pushing towards, yes, I'm trying to run my fastest marathon, so the workouts that I'm doing, I want to crush. I want to do this to be confident, to feel like I can run my race. But someone else might be coming back from injury, and their mental toughness is, let's not overdo it. Let's not push too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be responsible. Let's be mindful and things like that. So I think it's very personalized, not only to the person, but also the situation. Because sometimes your journey calls for you to push through that wall or that glass ceiling that you see in front of you, and sometimes it calls for you to pull back and not bull rush, but learn how to maybe do a spin move or a swim move or something. Like you can't always approach everything with the same mindset. What do they say? When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That's not always the case. You don't always have to do it that way.
Right. No, that's true though. That's true. And then what made me think about, like, we talked about zone 2 training on our run today, and zone 2 is one of those things where it's like you have to be mentally tough to stick to it, because in the beginning it's going to be way different than what you've been doing. Like, you got to slow down. You're going to have to, like, maybe decide to run by yourself, because Derek, the tech rep from with the ASICS tech rep, he would come to the runs like on Run for Bruce, and he would run by a bunch by himself. And I was like, I'm like, oh, you should just run with us. And he's like, what pace y'all running? I'm doing zone 2 training right now. It's gonna be way slower. Like, he just like, fine, I'll just do it by myself. But you may have to do that, because, and I think that's just another layer of, like, knowing what journey you're on. And sometimes it's just the sacrifice. Maybe you just got to take longer, get up earlier, run by yourself, run later, like, whatever it is. It's just like, you got to do what you got to do. And I think that's just not talked about enough, or given credit. Like, people don't give that enough credit either, of like deciding, I just got to do my thing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was part of what they were talking about on the show, was you made a promise to yourself to do this. You made a promise to yourself. You're going to train for whatever you're training for. Like, for me, it's a marathon. You made a promise to yourself. You made a promise to, your coach too, I guess, is another partner in this. Like, these are the days I'm going to run. These are the workouts I'm going to do. And you do whatever you can to get it done. It might be later in the day, like you said, depending on your schedule is going to be what your schedule is. Find time in your schedule. Make the time. If it's important to you, you will find the time and make the time to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of mental toughness, let's see, because we asked the question, what's mental toughness? Natalie O said, mental toughness means to me is having patience in the mundane, lonely work that you do day in, day out, of the non-sexy part of your training that no one knows about. And that goes to a lot of the stuff, like even the going to sleep and getting, like, try to get as much sleep as you need, the bedtime hygiene, whatever they call it. See, I obviously don't have it. But like eating, sleeping, foam rolling, stretching, all that stuff that doesn't necessarily show up in a reel unless you make it. You know what I mean?
Right. And then right. And that's not a reel people want to see every day. Every now and then, this is what I'm eating today. I got X amount of hours.
There's only so many times you can set up your phone on the other side of the room, turn the lights off, go lay down in the bed, turn the lights on. You know, only so many times you could do that.
I was
But
listening to a podcast with Vince Carter, and Vince Carter played in the NBA until he was 42 years old, 22 seasons, and he was saying like how as he got older, he knew that he had a 12-point checklist, and he had to hit all 12 things on game days to make sure that he was ready to perform. And
wow.
he was like, and the older I got, the more I had to make sure I was adhering to these 12 checkpoints. And it was like sleep, proper meal, a bunch of different stretching, cryo, like all of this stuff. And he's like, that was the highest of priority because sure, playing in the game is important, but if I know that I want to do this for a long time and consistently, I have to do all the building blocks, foundational things to get me there just to be able to play in the game. So yeah, he rolls out on the court at 7:00 when all the people are there, but you don't see all that extra work that he did just to get there. So it's like you said, you made the promise to yourself. Now, are you going to hold up your end of the bargain, or are you going to choose or let life choose for you something else?
Yeah. It like you talk about like LeBron too, like with all they talk about all this money he spends on it, but like the money part is like the cool, like he spends $1 million on his body, but it's more about like the dedication to whatever the craft is, you know, because the mundane part that Natalie was talking about, like that's the thing. It's like that stuff is the bane of the existence. Like sticking with a gym routine, like while running high mileage or training in the summer and all that, like just staying and going to the gym 3 times a week. That's a lot. It takes some mental toughness to be like, bro, like I already did enough. But I said I was going to do it, so we're going to do it. Yeah. I got a foam. Speaking of that, I got a foam roll. I ain't touched my foam roller in like.
I also got mine today too. I was like, do I need this today?
You were looking at your foam roller today?
Yeah, I was doing one of the Nel Rojas strength training routines, and I saw that foam roller sitting there. I'm like, should I use this when I'm done?
Yeah. I think the answer might kind of be but who knows?
I'm thinking about it. It's probably needed.
All right. And then, Steve McCullough said a 2-hour long run on the treadmill.
That is mental toughness right there. That goes back to like the strength portion of mental toughness, though. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, mentally, it takes a toll.
Yeah.
But that's also like gritting it out. Like I'm gonna sit here for 2 hours and grind this out. That's for me anyway. That's a mental hurdle for sure.
When like y'all don't know how anti-treadmill Gary is.
I went to the treadmill 3 times this week.
And you were cussing. I ran next to him on Thursday on the treadmill, and every step I was like, "What is that noise?" I had to take my headphones off, and he was like, "Damn it!" Like
that's
bro,
the clean version.
Right.
That's the clean version.
Yeah, I was trying to clean it up for everybody. Like, bro, you really don't like the treadmill, but I get it though. Like, it's like sometimes I want to go outside and run. Like, I don't want to. Like, I just worked all day. I don't want. Kids, I'm about to go stand on a treadmill for, run on a treadmill for an hour and a half. But sometimes you got to do it.
No, and then this week was particularly, I wasn't even messing with it. We had wind chills, like I said. If it's negative, whatever, -1, I'm indoors. It's just, no sense in screwing up your whole marathon training, like in week 3. And week 3, I don't know what she's getting at here. Gary cussing? No.
Oh yeah, because the Gary, you went on a cursing spree for a little bit there, like a year or so ago. You were just every time there's a video, you're giving me the middle finger. It was you should be ashamed of yourself still, is what I'm saying.
I think we got some. I think those videos actually did pretty well.
Hey, I just got to tap in. Sometimes you got to tap in.
Gary.
So how'd you get through those? How'd you get through those 3 terrible treadmill runs, Gary?
I knew ahead of time that these 3 days were going to be in the treadmill.
Yeah.
It wasn't a surprise. It wasn't like I got home from work late. It was these 3 days I'm going to be in the treadmill. Let's just punch in, punch out. Just do it. This is my job for these 3 days, is to run these miles. Just get it done.
Yeah.
That was it. And the good news was I wasn't doing like super high mileage either, you know, relatively speaking for what I normally do. Just 6 to 8 miles total. So
what you ran on a treadmill a few times this week too, right? Yeah.
I ran on a treadmill every day this week, other than today and yesterday.
So what do you do? What do you do? Because like people be like, call it the treadmill, all type of stuff. Like, what do you think about the treadmill?
I think thinking about it like that, for one, already makes it worse than it really is, because it's really not that bad. And I know I'm saying like, I don't want to, you know, like make it seem like, oh, y'all overreacting or whatever, but a lot of it is mindset. A lot of it is going into it. If you spend the whole day dreading it and like, oh, the treadmill, I got to run on that same idea of like get to versus or have to versus get to. Like, I don't have to run on a treadmill. I get to run on a treadmill today. So don't take it for granted, for one. And for two, I used to try to just like raw dog it and not bring headphones or anything, but
why?
Just because when I was running outside and it was like, no, we anti, but now it's just like, no, I put a podcast on and it feels like I'm listening to my friends while I run.
I accidentally raw dogged it one day and it was tough. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Actually, it wasn't that bad, but it was just
terrible. Like, it's just like, okay.
If you get to the gym and then you realize you're like, oh my, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I thought I was gonna be able to listen. And I had planned to make a call.
Yeah, if you have Planet Fitness, it's gonna get spooky because they playlists do not be hitting on nothing.
No, that playlist is nothing. And the playlist. I mean, you got plenty to look at in terms of like the TVs.
Yeah,
but the music is not good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know what's wrong with it. That was just a funny way to say what you were saying. I get it. But yeah, no, I think so. Like tips, okay, treadmill tips. I think this is a privilege. This is definitely a privilege. I've made phone calls on the treadmill, and that makes time go by really fast. What do you say?
So you got to have friends to be able to do that, for one.
Well, you got to have friends to be able to do that. Yeah, for one. I didn't say like no. I made some phone calls. Nobody answered, but made phone calls.
Voicemails.
You know, just run on a treadmill thinking about you. How's it going? You know? Give me a ring when you get a chance.
I'm not sure what's wrong with your phone. You haven't answered in a while. But like, like one thing that I used to do. It's me again. One thing that I used to do a lot was when I first started running. I used to, when first started like training for marathons. I would watch marathon races on my phone, just because like just the hearing the run. It's cool because like it's like something about it that I was kind of cool with. And I know Joe does that a lot too. Like he'll throw on a race and just like let it play. And it's just something about like other people running much, much faster. It just kind of like makes me feel like, all right, I can do that. And it's a little motivating too. Like just seeing like what the result of running can be or could be for some people. And one time I watched a whole, like one winter, I think it was like 2019, before I really started running outside more. I watched the whole season of Narcos, Mexico, or the first one, whatever that one was. All those I was reading subtitles on the iPad while running. It was crazy work.
Do you not get the urge to like speed up? Like when you're
on
like
treadmills?
Yeah.
No.
Like you're watching these marathons, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna
occasionally.
You know how when we're running, like if we're out running, we start talking about running and racing, our pace just drops drastically.
No, your pace drops drastically.
No. Our pace drops drastically.
Yeah. I think it's a little more difficult to do on a treadmill because you have to actively turn the treadmill up.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but sometimes I'll run up on sometimes like if I'm not paying attention, I'll run up on the run up too close to the thing. Oh, whoa, chill out, brother. You know, that's happened. That's happened. But like music is good. I'm like Aaron. I listen to podcasts. You know, podcasts are always good to listen to sometimes if you just want to zone out. But I think the best thing, hands down, is meeting up with a friend or two or three or four or five, if you have them.
Can't remember the last time I met up with y'all for a treadmill run. It's been a while.
It's too hot. It's too hot in Planet Fitness, dog.
No, y'all got a little more money. Y'all feel like y'all too good.
Yeah,
I know what it is.
I got a phone call. I got a phone call from a gym earlier this week saying, "Hey, you know, we'll give you a free week since you stopped by." And I said, "You know what? I'm at work." And then I blocked the number.
LA Fitness.
This is a life hack. Give them a fake number.
Yeah.
Like if you go, you know, give them a fake number.
They're not gonna call it. They're not gonna call it right.
They're gonna call it. Oh, they're gonna call it.
Not right then, though. Not right then. They're not gonna be like, "This your real number."
Imagine if they called it right then? Like, hold on.
Let me see.
I'm like, "Oh, I gave you my home phone number."
Right. It's disconnected right now. Don't worry about it. So you're gonna say like, give them 555. 555.
Give them your phone number. We just change the last number. You know.
Ooh.
Then it just come. You even say it like it flows out like it's your number.
Yeah. Like, and you just got the only thing you got to make up is like one number.
One number, and you're not even lying for real. You just made a mistake.
Yeah, for sure. No, well, you are lying, but they don't know you lying.
I think if I get this opportunity next time, I'll just gonna memorize the LA Fitness number that I'm at, or a different LA Fitness.
Give them their number back.
Yeah,
that is crazy work. And if they don't know it, they should just be fired automatic. Like, oh, you got to go. Like you a secret shopper for the gym?
Hello, do you like LA Fitness? I sure do. Great, you should join.
Oh man, no, but I think treadmills are cool. Like there's definitely a mental toughness aspect to that too. Like just being able to do more than 30-40 minutes on the treadmill, like after you get to 30-40 minutes, it's all mental toughness right there, because you got to work. It's boring. Even if you're with friends, it's just boring. It's nothing to it but boring. You're gonna have to go through like a playlist or two, or a podcast or two, something like this just fits perfectly for that day.
Yeah, and I mean, the treadmill teach you how to turn your brain off, and that's a skill to learn too. You know, like sometimes you got to just be able to just like put in low power mode and do your thing.
Yeah, I think the hardest part for me on the treadmill is the beginning, like the first couple steps, just trying to get into a rhythm. But then once I'm like in mile 6 or whatever, I'm actually fine. But it's just getting started is the difficult part for me.
Hey, so folks in the chat, what's the longest distance you've ever run on the treadmill? Drop the number in the chat the longest distance you've ever run on a treadmill. What's yours, Gary? 7?
I've done 10. Maybe 12.
You've done 12. You've done 12 for sure with us at some point. So chat, drop the number, chat. It was the longest. So I know for sure one day I did 20. It was a Planet Fitness. I think I ran 20. I believe like Joe had like 12 that day or 14 that day or something. And so like I started on purpose way before he got there, and then he pulled up. And then, I definitely did 10. I definitely did 20 that day.
So how many times did it stop? And how many hours is that? It stops every hour, right?
Yeah, because it does. Like that's the part of how you know if you ran a long way in a treadmill. If you got to stop it, if it stops twice on you, and you keep going after that. Oh yeah, it's a long run.
Right.
Because that's like 7 miles. I mean, it depends on how fast you're going, but
I've been doing 7 miles.
8 miles, like 6 to 8 miles, I guess. For our pace range.
Yeah.
What is yours, Aaron? It's got to be like 16, right?
16 or 18. 16 or 18.
Yeah. I did a 16 last weekend.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it again. I mean, it's not that bad, but it is that bad.
I mean, it's just when you have a long run, part of the appeal of the long run is like I get to run through multiple cities or multiple areas. You know, like that's like part of, for me at least, that's like part of the appeal of the long run. Is like I get to run a very long way and see a bunch of stuff that I don't normally see in a different way. And, you know, like just being able to like conquer that distance on foot in the real world. But doing it in the same spot in a Planet Fitness, people look at you kind of funny because they're like, "Dang, you still here?" I feel like people working there.
I mean, that's kind of. I'd be kind of liking that though. Like somebody.
Me too. Yeah.
Maybe on the treadmill next to you trying to go hard, and it's like, bro, relax.
That's an ego boost for me for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be here all day.
Yeah, I'll see you
at the same pace. Too.
Yeah, that's same pace. None of that stopping and going and all that. You know what I really don't like though, like, and this is super ego related, is when, like, say you got like 10 miles, right? You're on a treadmill, you do 10 miles, and you've been on that boy for an hour, and then you gotta stop it and then start over, and then somebody see you and they're like, oh, he only did like 2.5 miles. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, nah, bro, I've been on here forever. I've been on here forever. Like, no one. I want to stop the treadmill and it says 16 miles. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to stop it and it says like 4. You know, I want the next person to get on there and it's still the number's still there. And
have you ever been on a treadmill next to somebody and they're on the treadmill for as long as you're on the treadmill for, and y'all don't acknowledge each other? But it's like, because like a couple weekends ago, I was at.
I'm never getting off the treadmill, bro.
Look, I was at Planet Fitness a couple weeks ago, and it was a guy next to me. He was already there when I got there, and I had 8 miles. So like it was like my 8-mile run takes like an hour and 5 minutes. I know this because I know you get an hour and you get a 5-minute grace period after the hour.
I've been trying to get that grace period. What do you?
Yeah, wait. You just keep upping the speed, right?
Yeah, it's gonna keep slowing you down to 4.5, but you can speed it back up. It's like a cooldown. Yeah. So I was on there for my hour and 5 minutes, but I did strides too. But the guy next to me, he was on there for at least 45, 50 minutes, just right next to me, and he started before me. And as he got off and he was cleaning his thing off, I gave him a fist bump because he's an older guy, kind of heavy set, and I'm just like, that's dope. Like you over here, he wasn't running the whole time, but the belt was going the whole time, and I'm like, that's good work. Like, you know, I salute you. I respect it.
Yeah.
It's like doing when you're on those road trips and you ride next to somebody for like 2 hours. You don't even know this person. Y'all all of a sudden become best friends. You know what I'm saying? Y'all like you start help. Yeah, both of y'all going 15, 20 miles over the speed limit at least. Y'all working together, letting each other over, you know, all that stuff. And then when they finally part from you and they got to get off on that exit, it's like you lost your bit. Like it's like back in the day when you was a kid on the playground and then like somebody mom was like, all right, Timmy, come on. It's like, no. Like, bro, you guy got to go to speed limit?
I'm sorry. I do not understand the making friends in the highway concept.
What is wrong? What do you be doing?
You are my mortal enemy. Get out of the way. Move. I've never.
You've never worked with somebody.
Not. Move out of my way.
So I think you need to think about this a little differently. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's just like the marathon. If you are out there and you find somebody that's running your pace, y'all literally work together. That's what you be like out there by yourself. Some guy like, bro, I was trying to work with this guy, but he just kept. Every time I catch up to him and try to whatever, he run faster.
It's different. No, I'll run with you. But if you're in the car ahead of me, and no.
Wait. Are you with me, Aaron, or are you with Gary?
I'm with you. No, I was not with you. I was not with Gary when he said I'll run with you because all of the times Gary dropped me in marathons. But
right. That's what I'm trying to say. Gary, like, oh no, bro. I've never heard you be like, yeah, I've seen Aaron finish a race and like fist bump somebody. Like that's probably because they like they ran with each other. You don't ever have that experience.
I finished the race and fist bump the person next to me probably if they beat me for sure. Like I'm fine with that. I definitely have what they call a road rage. Like I'm fully aware that my kids have learned a whole new language of swears driving with me. I
drive really fast. But I'm not like an angry driver. Like
I'm an annoyed driver. I get annoyed.
I mean, wait, Aaron, have you ever been in the car with Gary?
Yeah, we We
Yeah.
drove to the airport with Gary.
Yeah.
Oh, he drove, right?
Yeah, he drove.
Yeah. The first Eugene trip, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I drove. It's a different experience. Riding with Gary. Like one time Gary was talking to me and was making full eye contact with me. I'm like, bro, somebody gotta watch the road. He was like, you know. I'm like, no, bro, I can hear you. We don't have to look at each other like this. You going 85 miles an hour, staring in my eyes. Crazy.
That's fine. You could go 85
speed.
for real.
Any speed, not looking at the road is just too much for me, bro. Too much. Oh man, treadmills. I'm just saying, Gary. Next time you're on the highway, I think you should think about it more a little bit. It's fun. It
I can't even wrap my brain around that. I'm not kidding. I cannot wrap my brain around that.
Malik said his gym only give him 30 minutes and a 5-minute cool down. I would never go back to that gym because that's like a microaggression.
Yeah,
that's the gym basically saying like we don't want y'all running on these treadmills.
That's pretty much like these treadmills aren't going to go anywhere farther. Like these treadmills are on their last tread.
Go ahead, Malik. Say the name. Don't be scared. Say what's the name of this gym? I mean, because so Planet LA Fitness, they're up. If you just hit go automatic, it's going 30 minutes, but you can go up to 60.
Yeah,
like you have to add it to 60. Planet Fitness
is
60 automatic.
No,
it's automatic 60.
Yeah, if you just hit go, it's gonna go fast. It's gonna go to the 60 minutes.
I'm not really sure I'm not really sure what the purpose of like having the cap is.
I think it's because them older treadmills, they don't have like the sensor to know if you own it or not. So if you just let it run, it'll just run forever.
I think it's an insurance issue.
Tell me more.
I don't think they want people going too long and hurting themselves on their treadmills. So somebody who's not supposed to be on them for more than an hour could hurt themselves, and they sue the.
Oh, right. So like first off, it's 30. So if you purposely hit this boy up to 60, you obviously you
should be in the shape enough to do that.
You go 60, but we're not gonna let you just be on this boy going 120 minutes.
Right. So you have to opt in. You have to opt into doing more than 60, like intentionally. You can't like passively do 2 hours.
I mean,
and die.
It should be like a casino, like a high stakes room. Like there should be like a high stakes like set of treadmills. You know what I'm saying? Like these treadmills.
I thought you were gonna say each treadmill should have a high score on it.
That's the same. But that's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm saying. That's
why
I want.
You can go an hour, 120 minutes in these treadmills. Minimum speed 7.
Right. Full casino vibe.
That's the high rollers room.
You know how much swag I would walk into that section with, like a whole level. Like I'm looking around, I'm making eye contact with people as I walk into the high stakes treadmill room. But like that's why I want to get off the treadmill. And I want to say 16 miles on the thing, so somebody else. It's not a high score thing, but I want the next person to be like, bro, like sometimes if I'm like on the weights like that, like with the pins, like so you pull the pin and put like whatever. After I do like my it'll be like on 70. I'll just do like my little whatever, and I'll just before I get up, I'll just take that boy and put it on like 300 and walk away. You know what I'm saying? They were like, dang, bro, it's crazy.
All right, let's go back to this treadmill thing for the high stakes. To get the treadmill started, you gotta do one of those big old casino, like you pull the thing back.
Yeah.
And you get like the
yeah.
But that starts the treadmill. Then you have to get on it. Like you can't be on it. Stop. You slowly. You gotta like get on there as it's already going.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. We either the gyms have to do it, or we're gonna just start our own gym
with the Oculus as well, all of it.
So
sure, it's so expensive.
Gary saw this. There was like this treadmill. There was like a treadmill on like the floor where like they do the sled pull and all that stuff. And it was like solo treadmill, but it was like specifically for like walking slower, maybe uphill or whatever. But they had that thing around the waist, and it was like ties to all directions. And Gary's like, that's what we need for the Oculus run. Because you couldn't go anywhere. Like it was like you're right. And I don't know what the
And he was walking backwards too. He was doing that.
Yeah, he was
thing where
walking backwards uphill.
Yeah.
He was walking backwards uphill, but he had like the thing tied around his waist and it had 4 connections. I don't know
Was it Alter G? It might have been an Alter G.
No. It was a regular
no.
treadmill. He wasn't like in the.
Oh no, Gary. So the ties were like he was backed up closer to the front of the machine, going uphill, but you could see that there was a lot of tension on the ones attached downward. So he was like walking uphill, pulling something
with resistance.
With resistance,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But so we got to work on this. Our gym guys, if you're, save your money because it's gonna cost a lot. Our gym's gonna have a Oculus section where you could go. You be running. You could be damn near in Fortnite, pretty much running around. You be the guy, and then there's gonna be a high roller section, high runner. Oh.
Yeah.
Ideas are flowing now.
Yeah.
High runner section.
Come get a runner's high in the high runner section.
All right. But we'll talk about this offline because honestly, the gym's got to do better. That's what we can all agree on. The gyms have to do better. That's all. That's all I got. That's all I got. Who ran? Oh, remember we used to do this too. Did you run today? How far did you run? Where are you at? Tap in. Oh, we didn't even say anybody. Like, so people, I'm sorry, guys. We asked you a question. McKinley said the most he's run is 6 miles on the treadmill. Natalie says she's done 16. McKinley said he did 10. Alexis said he did 12. She did 12. Steve did 13.5. Okay, these are some solid numbers on here.
Yeah, for
solid
sure.
Numbers. What did you guys run today, distance-wise? In the chat, and also Gary, what'd you run? Aaron, what'd you run?
I did 12. Go ahead, Aaron.
I ran 16 miles with Tommy and crew. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pressure or just regular miles?
The miles were slow, man. The miles are slow.
Man, Aaron training for a different race than us, dog.
No, I was
as
running
soon as
out.
we took off the gate, he was out.
Like, these people are different. Water eventually found its level, but I was still just like, yo,
bro. There's one point he how like people like super arrogant people like would be like just start running backwards talking to you while you running in the group run, just running backwards like, yeah, man. So I was just saying, but no, Aaron was definitely moving. I'm like, bro, different, and you had on some clean super shoes. That helps. So like. A run in some good super shoes, like it's like 20-30 seconds at slower paces. Easily, like effort wise, for sure. McKinley said he did 12 Saturday and did 8 today. It's a good 20-mile weekend. Malik said the most he did on treadmill was 10 miles. I did 18 today, so I had like 2.5 hours on the thing, on the schedule. So that ended up being about 18 miles.
I did 12, and the only thing I had to do was make sure I negative split the run.
Did you do so?
I did. I took the governor off of the watch and just ran with just let myself go, and it felt nice, felt good. But
yeah,
I did the hills behind the high school here where I'm at. And,
yeah.
600 feet of elevation over 12 miles. It was a good day.
Felt good to get the wind blowing through your hair like that?
Yeah, it did. I needed it. You guys talk about your super shoes and whatnot, but you guys don't talk about aerodynamics, which is what I got. So that's where I'm coming from. That's my advantage right there.
True dedication. True dedication to the craft.
Yeah.
I'm aware though that like I'm aware that my hair isn't the vibe sometimes on some of these runs, like because it gets on my nerves sometimes. It's a little heavy, especially if it rains. It's over. So
this is the longest your hair has ever been in your life, right, Tommy?
Ever for like 2 years now.
Yeah,
actually, like for 4 years now, it's been the longest. Because every now and then I get like a fro, maybe a little bit. I know I had braids back in the day when braids was cool. I mean, braids are still cool for people that got braids, but like back when like braids was like a real thing, like in like I think it was like like 02. I had some braids or whatever. Sat down in a couple chairs with do the zigzag braids and all that stuff.
I think I had braids as well.
But that was it. My mama didn't like it then either. She likes my hair now though, so we good. Gary, is this the longest your hair has been?
I haven't had long. I mean, I think I have a post during COVID where you couldn't get into a barber for a while, and I mean, obviously, I've got the male pattern baldness, but I was like, I got the beginnings of a comb over going on over here because it took forever.
Oh, sweet. Okay, yeah, let's get specific about this long run today and the shoes that were worn. Alexis said, Aaron, I want to hear about those Saucony Endorphin Elite 2s.
I enjoyed them today. Stack height is nice. It's a pretty high stack height. I felt very tall in them. But it's kind of hard to judge a super shoe if you don't like push it. And we kept it very easy today. So somebody DM'd me on Instagram and asked me, well, how would you compare these to the Alphafly? And I'm just like, I don't know if I have a legit comparison right now because I didn't run fast in them. But overall, I like them. I did have some Tommy actually talked about it before the run. He said he had some issues with a little hot spots on the outside of the pinky toe. And I ran 15 miles and then we stopped to use the bathroom. And when I stopped and then started running again, I felt it. Like I didn't feel it until I stopped. So the toe box is a little snug. So maybe size up a little bigger than you normally go. I don't know what would possibly mitigate that.
So I had issues. Mine was on a treadmill. So I thought mine was just because treadmill is different though, because it kind of caused you to slide a little bit, forward a little bit on the landing. But like I had it on one side, like I had a hot spot on the outer like pinky toe, and I thought, and sometimes I think it maybe just be certain shoes just need a different like lockdown or tie down,
or sock,
sock too, because like the toe box isn't narrow in those shoes. Now I'm thinking about it, really. I just think it must be like the way that the foot just moves in the shoe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So because when I ran, and I was telling you I ran in the last half marathon in Egypt in the Saucony, like the slip-on. I mean the Saucony, the Puma slip-on, the big shoes. What's up, Nicholas?
Hey, Nicholas.
You say hi. Good job. All right. Okay.
But I had blood blisters on both feet, but there was a lot of hills, a lot of downhill, and there's no shoelaces to the shoe, so there is no lockdown for real.
Yeah,
those are the type of shoes you just got to run flat and forward. And we did a lot of hills today too, so it's like it's kind of hard to tell like if the shoes had it's just like a combination.
Let me ask you this. This is kind of off topic, but when you wear super shoes for any occasion, do you wear a specific type of sock in those shoes, like a race day sock? Because I make sure like I have a sock I would wear on race day whenever I put a super shoe on.
Really?
Just to make sure that if there is a hot spot, is it the sock? Is it the shoe being tight? But I've noticed that I do a lot better in race day socks wearing super shoes than I would normally.
I don't actually, and that's probably a good idea.
I usually just grab whatever pair of socks is clean, to be honest.
Yeah.
Out of my running sock collection, because I have a running socks, and then I have non-running socks. So.
Yeah.
And I never want to get to, sometimes I get to them days where I don't have any clean running socks, and I got to bring out a non-running sock, and it's usually not a good day.
It's funny. Usually, I run out of non-running socks. I go back and get some running socks.
bro, wearing Swiftwick to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't do that, but you probably could or should. I mean, a lot of my race day socks kind of lean into like the socks that I'm comfortable with on a daily basis. Like I'm not wearing any thick socks to run, like to race in, but yeah, like.
So today, this morning as I was preparing for the long run, because I've done this one time before. I'm like, should I wear the toe socks? But then I'm like, no, it's cold outside, and the toe socks individualize your toes, and they're gonna be colder. But I do like the toe socks in regular running shoes. Wear the toe socks. It was fine.
How many times have you worn? How many times have you done it?
Like 2 or 3.
So like a lot of people like that run ultras do that on purpose to keep the friction, because that's where a lot of the issues come, is the toes are rubbing against each other.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense to do it that way.
I just feel like it would take some time to acclimate.
Well, you got 18 miles.
It was like,
I mean, yeah, Gary, thank you.
no, it was like 2 minutes. Like I thought about it for like the first 2 minutes of the run, and then I was just like, okay.
Yeah. What? Oh yeah. So now that we're talking about long run shoes, what's like your go-to? Let's just assume like there is no. Well, I guess that I'm about to answer your questions. What type of shoes do you go for like a long run? Do you go for like a normal daily trainer, a super trainer, or a super shoe? Like what's like if you had to pick one of those categories for
This-
to the end of time?
This training session, I'm gonna do my best to do solely super trainers and use the super shoes as needed, like for obviously a race or
Workouts.
a tough workout. And then depending on how close the race is, if I happen to get a new pair of super shoes that I want to use for the race,
Mhm.
I'll probably break that out for a long run just to kind of make sure I'm comfortable in them along with some workouts. But for this whole session here, I'm doing super trainers because I'll still get the recovery I need. I'll still get, a good cushion under my feet just to, keep my legs comfortable.
Mhm.
But I think a trainer might be too low to the ground, like not enough padding for me, but super trainer might hit that spot just right. So like today I did the Mizuno Neo Zen. So I put those on. This is my second run in those shoes.
I don't know if those are considered super trainers.
I think I read that they
Are they?
were. I think
I
so.
guess they do have a plate in there, right? A nylon plate, right?
Yeah, I believe they do. Yeah.
The Mizuno Neo Zens are, Aaron, this is the ones I forgot to bring you today. I mean, if I had to pick one shoe to run in for a whole month, I think it would be that one right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's called a daily trainer though.
Yeah, I don't think it's considered super. I think it's just I think the
Interesting. I
plate.
feel like they're padded a lot more than a daily trainer. They got a lot more foam.
So that's what I was gonna say. Like, I think there is kind of a hybrid model almost at this point. And I think ASICS was kind of like the first brand to really like lean into that. Because like the Nova Blast 5, it's not necessarily a super trainer, but it's not a super racer either. It's kind of like just a max, like a higher stack daily trainer.
Well,
Like the Nike
that super.
Sparrow 18. It's a daily trainer, but it's a lot of foam.
Yeah,
Like
but
a lot.
everybody was like me, Hoka. I mean, they started it. It's like Hoka throw all this foam in there, and I mean I feel like the super trainers to me, all the ones that I guess I would think about when I say it are illegal stack heights and carbon fiber plate. Because. I mean, because you're talking about the Adidas has that one that those are illegal, because of stack height. Nova, I mean, the ones I wore today were the Super Comp trainers. I believe that those are over 40 millimeters
I
too.
don't think they are anymore.
They're
I
not.
think the first version was, but I think they
Yeah, I
brought it
think
down.
the first two. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know what super trainers are anymore. I guess that's
It's
like
not
that was
really
just
a legit like thing. It kind of varies from
Yeah.
brand.
It's
It's,
interesting.
I
I was
mean-
just doing some research. The Neo Zen is actually 2 millimeters lower than the Neo Vista.
yeah. The Neo Vista is heavier.
It's cushier too. It's got the foam's a lot softer.
In the Neo Vista.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Neo. So, but anyway, but the Neo Zen. I think Neo Zen is one of my favorite trainers right now. Hands down. Like
Wow.
I switched. If I could only just do two shoes like to train in, I think it would be the Neo Vista and the Adidas Evo SL. So they're both very different, but I think they just fit
I think
my
Adidas needs to
running right
start
now.
changing up their names a bit more because I'm starting to get confused as to what's
Yeah,
what.
the Evo SL, the
Yeah.
Evo One. Yeah.
Naming all their shoes like George Foreman kids.
Georgina, Georgette.
Yeah.
But I think that like if I had to pick, I used to always wear like a super shoe for
Mhm.
long runs. But like some of these trainers are so close to like what you kind of would need to be comfortable and all that stuff, and you can kind of turn over pretty well in them. Like there's no reason to like be in something as rigid as a super shoe for as often as we were doing it, or I was doing it. So I think I'm leaning much more towards that, like that shoe that's in that middle section of like high stack height, comfortable, some type of plate for some type of propulsion or stability. I like that. Not
I've
stability like stability shoes, but you know what I mean.
Right.
I've done like long runs in a regular Pegasus or like the Tracksmith Elliott Runner. I've done long runs in those.
Mm.
I've noticed that my Achilles doesn't love that. Like I need some extra foam. I need some extra like there to
What's
keep
it called?
some
Drop.
A
Yeah, you
little-
need more drop. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think that's because the nature of the shoe market right now is so many shoes have such aggressive drops that when I wear a shoe that doesn't, if I take it for a long a long run, it's just a lot of pressure on my lower leg that I don't know if I'm necessarily adapted to. So
yeah, and you said on the treadmill you were having that feeling too.
Yeah, but it correlates because on the treadmill I've been wearing a lot of minimal shoes because I don't like the feeling of a lot of foam on the treadmill. But I've actually for the last few weeks, I've still done all my workouts in the Topo Cyclone just because it's been working for me. But I've been doing my easy runs in the Vomero 18.
Is the Topos easy runs in the Vomero 18? Vomero 18 is a great shoe, bro. Shoe. Like it's really good. Like I got my hands on the Vomero 17 like not too long before we got the 18s, and it was good, but it was just like I didn't see like because if you look at like all the elite African runners, they all wear Vomeros and they've been wearing Vomeros, and I thought in my mind like, oh, obviously they wear Pegasus, right? But everybody wore Vomeros, and I just didn't see why because I threw on the 17s. I was like, these are just okay. But those 18s are really good.
Yeah, they threatened me with those.
Yeah, and it almost I never really liked the what are those other ones called? The not Infinity, but Invincible. I never liked those, but to me, that foam reminds me of like how the feeling was underfoot, but just much more like shaped like a running shoe. So it's like it seems like Pegasus meets Invincible for me.
I actually thought they were close to the. I think I've said this before. They were close to the 1080s.
Okay,
I would agree. I love both.
Yeah. Good job, Nike. And I think this like we kind of had to talk about like that in our chat. Is like Nike really needs to like find that sweet spot of that one shoe that's like everybody can super trust like on a daily basis. Because I mean, obviously, when it comes to like race day shoes, they got what they got. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no arguing Nike's race day option.
Yeah,
I think the tough thing with Nike, with the Nike range, is just it feels like whack-a-mole sometimes. It's like because the Pegasus would be real good, but some like other ones will be not as good. And then like if you can find the one that year, like for me, the first Invincible was really good. I really like that.
Yeah. Oh, for me, the first Infinity.
That's great. Invincible, I didn't like you, but we talked about this before.
Yeah. But like they're it's almost impossible to like try every Nike shoe in the range in the year because it's just so many different SKUs, so many different products. So I think if they figure out like, okay, this is our shoe of like this is the shoe that we want to push as the daily trainer, because it's like I understand you want to personalize, you want to offer you don't want to offer a one size fits all solution for every runner. You want people to be able to be like, oh, I'm a stability runner, so I need these, or oh, I'm a 4-foot striker, so I need these. But like you might want to like they're doing a better job already of just like distilling it down into very clean and understandable product lines, and like this is probably for you. It's not 15 different shoes, it's 2 different shoes. Like you'll probably like one of these. And
Are they done? I'm not bad. Are they done with the Infinity or Invincible?
That's what it sounded like.
I don't think so. I think the Vomero, Pegasus. It was 3 of them. Vomero, Pegasus.
Zoom. Alexa says she's been liking the Zoom Fly 6 for workouts and long runs. Fly
6 is in their racing category, but the range they showed us with the 3 shoes with the 3 different tiers, that's their core collection. So that's like their.
Oh, but then they're about to drop the Pegasus Premium, so that's another one.
Yeah. So you got Pegasus Premium, Pegasus
Plus.
And then you got that. You'll have Vomero Premium, Vomero Plus, and you'll have 3 different.
Oh, silos. Okay, yeah. So like, if you like the Vomero line, you like the Vomero line. I guess it's like the same thing. I mean, New Balance kind of has the same thing. Not really.
Like, if you like the, oh, I heard you like the Ford Taurus. Well, we got a Ford Taurus Coupe if you want that. Like we got the 2-door Ford Taurus if you want that. Or we got the
exactly. It's like, okay, I don't know if I need a Ford Taurus.
Or we got the RT or whatever you want.
A Ford Taurus SUV. Okay, guys, we're doing too much. But like, and I think that like I would definitely long run in the Vomero team for the reason of it feels much more like a super shoe or super shoe option. But yeah, so many options out here. So many options. What brand? Random question. What brand do you guys like? Feel like if somebody was like walked up to you on the street and been like, "What brand's doing it right?" and you had to answer, what would you say?
New Balance.
Yeah. I mean, off the top of my head, yeah. Though I would say probably if I did think about it a bit more, I think I've been praising those the Puma
DV8
Nitro.
DV8 Nitro.
DV8 Nitros. Yeah.
I agree. Puma is doing well too, but New Balance is just like world class to me right now.
Yeah.
I think mine would be Adidas right now.
I might say that if I owned a pair of Adidas, but I don't.
Yeah, I think the only pair of Adidas I have are the Supernovas.
Yeah, I love the Supernovas. You had the Supernovas, right?
No, last Adidas I ran in was Adios Pro 2.
You got to go back to that basement, bro. I think you got the Supernovas.
No, I don't. I don't have no. I have no Adidas.
So the Supernovas are sweet. I think you'd like those for sure. Supernovas.
Let me just get another Adidas shoe too, not the Supernova, but something like a Supernova Blast, or is that the Taco Bell drink? What am I thinking of here?
Yeah, wait, no, the Nova Blast is Asics.
No, but I feel like I have another different Adidas shoe upstairs. I just can't figure out what it is right now, but it's not the Supernova. But I just recently feel like I got it within like the past few months.
I don't know. You gotta let us know about that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I mean, not to like say compare them to Nike, but they don't have, from what I'm looking at, like they don't have a bunch. They have options, but they all like stack. They don't have too many silos. Like they do have a lot of different names now, but it seems like they're trying to get rid of some of them. Like they're just trying to let them die out, because like even like that Evo thing, like that's the Evo SL is like the Evo is the new family. You know what I mean? Like they got Adizero, but then they like the Evo is going to be like the new family of the runs that they do. Like they're going to have the Evo 2 probably someday. That's like the race day option, but then they'll have like the Evo SL, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And I think if they just continue down that road and keep it simple, it should be nice. She said Alexa said I want to try the Evo SL if they ever come back in stock. That black one, like I'm not even a black shoe. I don't like black shoes like that, but that black shoe with the white stripes looks pretty clean. Pretty clean.
Supernova Rise. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah. That's the same shoe. That's the same shoe.
They just
New
got
shoe. MD Baja Blast Zero.
Mountain.
Man, but yeah, man, it's a lot of shoes out there to try out, and maybe I think we should do an episode of our next. I think next show we should do a top three daily trainers and why. We should bring them, show them, and talk about why. I think that'd be fun.
And then obviously in the chat, let us know what your top daily trainer is too, so we can discuss that as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we'll wrap this one up for sure. Make sure that thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing on YouTube here. If you're listening to us on a podcast platform, make sure you subscribe and like and leave a comment about how amazing we are. Share it with your friends. Grandmothers really love the PR project. So if you send it to your grandmother, your mother, your father, all that stuff.
Let us know at the.pr.project on Instagram what clips you want us to pull, then so you can share with your friends. Like, listen to these guys. These guys are amazing.
Yeah,
They talked about microwaves and long runs and kangaroos.
I really just still can't. Well, the amount of kangaroo content that I've seen since that episode is scary.
And the thing of getting punched in the face, bro. I'm telling you.
They always get punched in the face, but then they always are so like stocky looking. Like,
I never realized how they use their tail to keep them standing up.
Oh, that's creepy. Yeah, how they just like. But the thing that makes me like, I realize what the problem is why they get punched in the face so willy nilly. And can't do it back. They don't have no chest.
They got that bird chest.
It's like their shoulder muscles are like touching each other. There's like no chest.
Yeah.
It's like their arms are just there. Like there's no like they can't get.
You know what they need? They need to do some mobility work. Just kind of like
somebody got open that chest up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Open that chest up. The day that kangaroos get chests is over for everybody. That's the apocalypse.
Nah, it ain't. Because kangaroos can't get on boats.
Why can't they get on boats?
Because we're human.
I'm telling you, if they learn to spin their tails and get some propulsion,
I'm telling you, if they learn how to fly, it's over. All right, man. All right. You guys are great. Thanks so much for watching the PR Project episode 102.
In the books.
Peace.
See ya.